First off, appreciate you, bro, for being out here.
Oh man, appreciate
I
you.
know you got a busy schedule and everything going on, my man, on Hulu. Yeah.
Trying, man, trying for sure.
Yeah, I mean, that's what it's about, right? Like, that's what this whole podcast is about. Like, you know, this is actually the first time we're going to do something a little different. And not that you're not in that realm right now, you know, I'm sure there's something you're going to get into down the road when it comes to, you know, entrepreneurship. But, you know, you're more on the entertainment side.
Right.
This is the first time I'm sitting down with an entertainer. You know, made the transition from basketball into, you know, movies, TV shows. You know, that's pretty cool. You know, tell me a little bit about that transition.
It was rough, bro. It was like being torn between the two. From Chicago, so, you know, all I knew was ball. All I knew was hooping. That's all. My pops, my family, basketball. That's how you know, go to college, you try to make it. It came around like my senior year in high school. I ended up getting the leading role in that movie, and it changed my life completely, bro. That's crazy because I tried out to be a stunt double, and they offered me an acting role. They were like, "Hey, you have a lot of charisma. You know, you should think about acting." And I was like, "Man, I won't do that, man. Like, I ain't no actor. What are you talking about? I'm a hooper. I'm a ball player." So, yeah, man. So I ended up trying it, and they ended up offering me the leading role in the movie. It's called Praying for Love, man. It came out 2016. So yeah, it was crazy. It was wild.
Were you already 18 at that time, or were you still underage, technically?
I was 18.
Yeah, 18.
I was 18, so I was able to sign the contract.
Good job, line. That's amazing, man. I mean, you know, I'm from a similar, you know, field from you. Like, my whole goal was NFL. I played a little bit of professional football, but, you know, my mindset was like, this is it, this is it, this is it. And I realized, you know, thanks to God, of course, I always give thanks to God. But I realized, like, you know, sometimes the plan that we have for our lives is not His plan. And I promise you, if you try to fit your plan into His plans, it's not gonna work. It's like trying to fit, you know, a square peg in a round hole. Like, it's just not gonna work. So God's gonna be like, no, here's the square hole. This is where we're gonna plug you in. You know, so His plan is greater than all. So I know where you're coming from. You know, like, your mind was basketball, 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 and I know obviously I know something. Like I said, when you play sports, like, that's something that doesn't go away. You still play. So
exactly.
you still got, and every time you see people playing, you're like, I can still do
that.
that.
Yeah, I can still hang.
Like, oh, I'm better than this guy, I'm better than that guy. But you know, you made that transition. I always say it's a big ego thing, right? You know, because sometimes, like you said, sometimes you just gotta watch the sport and enjoy it for what it is instead of being there critiquing.
Exactly.
The closer you are from the game, the more that you're like really critiquing every single player.
Exactly.
Like, yo, I can do that better.
Exactly.
And you're critiquing, and now step back. You know, I probably haven't played ball like professionally or on a team since I was 20. So about 9 years now.
Dang. About
9 years now. And I can still go out and live my thing. I remember, it's funny, I was playing the other days, played some flag football with some random guys, and caught this one pass and took it like, you know, 40 yards, because we played a full field football game. And I took it like 40 yards, and nobody touched me. Like, damn, I didn't think you could run like that.
How long it took you to get them 40 yards?
I mean, I'll tell you, but just put it with the whole field was surprised. They were looking like, what? They got their little beer belly, but I can still run.
Right.
You know, I'm still running faster than people weigh 50, 60 pounds less than me. But, you know, you take it for what it is, right? Like, but when you're right next to the game, you're like critiquing every move. Like, no, I should be there. Now, when you start taking the ego out of it, you're like, listen, I'm not there because I'm not supposed to be there. You know?
Exactly.
It's not supposed to be there.
You don't be where you're supposed to be at the end of the day, man. You hit it right on the head when you said that, man. Like, your plans and God's plans are two different accords. You can think it's you say, oh, I'm doing it for Him, but like he didn't, you know, pull apart what it was really for.
It's funny too. People always like to say, like, you know, oh yeah, this is His plans, like trying to rationalize what they're doing, and it's like, bro, if it's not working.
I'm guilty of that. That's me. I was sometimes that's in entrepreneurship. Sometimes you think like, oh yeah, I'm doing His plan, but then you like when it doesn't work out how you thought it will.
Yeah.
You kind of think like, is this really His plan?
Yeah.
Is it? You know, like so it kind of like differentiate between the two.
Sometimes you just need to sit down and have an honest one-on-one conversation with God. You know, people think it's kind of weird, like, because he talks back, but he talks back differently, right? He's not talking like you and me talking. And I can be honest, I do have one experience where I can tell you that I did hear God speak, which was the craziest. Like, I started crying, bro, when I heard that. But I can talk about that a little later.
Yeah, I'm trying to hear that now. We'll talk about it. We'll get to it.
I'll go for it right now. I don't think I've ever talked about it on the podcast before, but so back in the days, this is before I finished playing football. This must have been like 10 years ago. You know, I had stopped going to church for a while, and then So started doing some stuff I shouldn't have been doing, you know.
We've
all been in and out, you know. So I was in that realm. I was kind of playing in the world I wasn't supposed to be playing in, you know. And I had broken up with my girlfriend, but she's the one who kind of got me to go back to church again. So after a while, you know, I hadn't gone to church. We broke up. I hadn't seen her in a while, but I still, you know, hadn't got back to church since we broke up because, like, well, we're not together, so I don't really, you know,
right.
I wasn't thinking about it. Then I had this dream this one night, and in my dream, I get shot, and the bullet goes, I see the bullet go through my eyes, right? And then all of a sudden, everything just goes pitch black. And then I just hear myself thinking out loud saying, where am I gonna go? You know, and I swear, in that dream, I've never been so scared in my life in a dream. Because it's like, you're thinking like, you're dead, and it's like, the eternity, the rest of your life, where am I gonna be?
The final place.
Yeah, where am I staying? So, the dream, I wake up the next day, and I just have this like kind of fear inside of me. So, you know, like, you know what's funny enough, it was Sunday, you know. So I'm like, we going to church. I wake up, you know, it might have been Saturday because at the time I was going to church on Saturday at 6 p.m. So it might have been Friday night the dream and Saturday, you know, I wake up. So I go to church, and I made a point, like, I have to go to church. And then another coincidence, you know, whatever you want to call it, coincidence, it was the day we took communion. So take communion, of course, then the pastor tells you, you know, pray, reflect, you know, you're taking in the sacrificial, you know, body and blood of Christ.
Right.
So make sure you're in the right spot to receive this. So I'm praying, I hadn't taken the communion yet, and I'm praying hard, man. I'm harder than I've ever prayed before. And then I took the communion, and then I continued to pray, and I prayed so hard, and then all of a sudden, as I was praying, I felt like this super warm feeling inside of me. Like my whole body just got really warm, and just like everything was like at peace. And then I heard the words, "Don't worry, you're going to heaven." And I cried. And I cried whenever I get goosebumps every time I say that. And I cried. And it was probably one of the most comforting, peaceful feelings I've ever felt in my life, you know. And this has nothing to do with business. This has nothing to do with entrepreneurship. But this has everything to do with everything. This has everything to do with everything. This is real life. So you got to put God in everything you do. But I will tell you, that was the most peaceful, comforting feeling I've ever felt in my whole entire life. And I've never forgot that. And I tell everybody, you know, if it's a way to put it in there, I tell people about it because it's powerful. It changed the rest of my life.
Bro, for me, that moment was, I think is 2011. I got baptized. And when I got baptized, bro, like when I came out of the water, is to this day, there's no, bro, I've been on TV in front of millions. I met celebrities. I played against LeBron. I did all of this, bro. There was no type of feeling like coming out that water, bro.
Yeah.
But I just felt like it was just I can't explain it, bro. It's just a certain type of peace, a certain type of warmth, a certain type of glow that kind of just came with me with that water, bro. Like, and like I said, I did all type of stuff that I could be like, oh yeah, this and that felt great, that feels good. But that,
I mean, I tell people that's the most impactful moment in my life too. I mean, that shows you like the power of God and what He got, right? What He's got for all of us. And you know, another time, because when I got cut from my last professional team, you know, I remember one of the guys.
Where was that at?
I was at St. Petersburg.
St. Pete.
Yeah.
I like St. Pete.
Yeah, it was a dope city. You know, it was pretty cool. It was like my first experience. Like one of my first experiences was like, okay, here's your apartment, paid for. Here's your food. Here's this, everything paid for. Here's money. Here's that. Play your ball. You know, I'm like, this is nice. All I gotta worry about is football. You know, no job, no nothing. This is my job. This is my life. And I got cut. And one of the guys on the team was a pastor as well. And he came to me and he was like, God's smallest thought is bigger than the most advanced thought that you could ever have. And because I was balling, and it kind of helped me stop crying a little bit when you start realizing. But 9 years later, 10 years later, you're like, I get it now. Like, I get what he's talking about. Because my path is completely different trajectory. You know, I'm doing almost nothing, and I know pretty much almost nobody that I knew back then besides my blood, and probably I could name a handful of people that still associate today from back then. So, you know, I'm friendly and I'm cool with everybody, but I'm close with few. Like I keep the people close to me, and I keep them close for a reason.
Your circle is your circle.
You know, your circle is your circle.
You got a lot of acquaintances, but your circle probably the same. Yeah.
So
that's facts. That's important.
I tell people all the time, right? Everybody in your life is a hot air balloon or they're an anchor. They're gonna lift you up or they're gonna bring you down. And you have to miss, sometimes you gotta cut ties.
Oh,
you know,
a lot of times.
So every year you do a spring cleaning.
Spring cleaning.
Where you do a spring cleaning in the phone book. Gone. I'm about to get a second phone number now, and then on that next phone number, it's going to be a very select few people who are going to be on that phone. And it's like, okay, if this phone rings,
I hold it for level,
yeah,
but I ain't gonna lie.
I answer this phone no matter what.
I ain't gonna lie, bro. I definitely gotta change my number.
Yeah, you know,
I've had the same number since middle school.
this is the only number I've ever had.
Yeah, same.
But yeah,
Same.
It's the same since 8th grade. No, 9th grade, since 9th grade. So for me, what's that, 15, so that's 18 years with the same number.
Dang. So mine's, yeah, I'll probably run the same, honestly. But the only thing when it gets annoying for me is that, like, I cannot hear from somebody for years, right? But then they see me on TV and they'll be
hey,
like,
yeah, you good.
hey, bro, congrats, so proud of you. Like,
That's, you know, it's funny too
hope you're
because
doing well.
yeah.
Oh, you were hoping I was doing
Yeah.
like, you see me on TV, you see me doing this and that. Now you're invested.
You know, it's funny too because I'll say this, you know, entrepreneur world different from, you know, success on entrepreneur, success on the entertainment world is different because people can see how good you're doing, right? Yo, I tell people all the time, sometimes the most successful people I know in the business world, they got khaki shorts, boat shoes, just one nice piece of nice watch.
No,
it's plain Jane, but it's worth $100,000.
Exactly.
And people don't realize that. And they're like, oh, but then you got the guy who got 17 chains on,
yeah,
you know, this and everything,
rings,
and he lived in his grandma's basement, you know, and it's like, so here, especially here down South Florida, you know, a lot of the urban cities, for sure, I'm sure in Chicago you see that a lot, and it's like, people look at that and they're like, that's success, and it's like,
Which is crazy.
first of all, we don't even know if those are real.
Exactly.
Second of all, even if they are, they might have spent his last money. Is that a good investment?
Exactly.
So, you know, where on entrepreneur level, you can never really judge somebody's success by just a straight appearance, but when it's in the entertainment world, hey, you're on TV, you're doing something.
Yeah,
You know,
I
so it's
get what
different.
you're saying, yeah. But to piggyback off what you said, when someone can have a $25,000 watch on and still have a car note. Hold on, something's not adding up.
Exactly.
So you're driving Camry.
Yeah, exactly. You know, it's
what's going on? The math not mathing.
I know that's one of my favorite sentences. The math
is not mathing. So.
No, that's one of my favorite phrases. But you know, it's funny too because people don't understand that, like, for being a capitalist country that we live in, nobody really teaches you about money. You know,
Never.
So
not the school system for damn sure. No.
Exactly. That's why I say I'm an educator, right? I do life insurance, retirement planning for people, and I sit down with people and I explain to them about money before I even put a product in front of them. I probably know what they're going to need more than less before just having a conversation, but I'm going to explain to them why they need what they need and let them figure out what's right for them. I could put them into whatever they need. You know, I have the access for that. But at the same time, it's like, well, let me educate you first, because if you don't know why you need what you need, you're going to give it up eventually.
Exactly.
But if I'm telling you, listen, there's a reason why I'm doing this for you, and you know what the reason is, it's going to be harder for you to give it up because you know, hey, if I stop investing this right now, when I retire at the age of 65, I might not have that much money left. How am I going to live the rest of my life? But if I say, this is why I'm doing what you're doing, so at 65, you don't have to worry about a single penny because you know that you're guaranteed $100,000 a year for the rest of your life. Okay, you're not going to miss a payment.
It's funny you say that, bro. It's kind of how God talks to us.
It
He doesn't just give us the, you know what I mean?
Yeah, the how.
He gives you
the
the reason and the why. He's not giving you, oh, it's happening because of this. No, just know this, and it's for better. You know what I mean?
100%.
It's basically what you're, to translate. So like,
yeah,
I feel that.
You know, at the end of the day, I think everybody needs to be educated. You know, and especially in money, when it comes to money, because
For sure.
you know, a lot of people who don't come from it, especially like you hear a lot like 30 for 30 broke, you know, you being an athlete, not being an entertainer, you know, you hear these stories of these people that they got messed up because they signed the wrong contract or they didn't know what to do with their money, or like Shaq, you know, Shaq told a story, you know, I'm sure you know this, his first check, he had $1 million, spent it all. Then there was his account went negative, and the bank's like, look, we're going to cover it for you because you know you're good for it. Yeah. But there's a thing called taxes. You know what I mean?
That's crazy though. The bank was like, Shaq's so big. And they're like, we know you're good for it.
Yeah, we know you're good for it, but like, just so you know, next time, plan for this. You know, and understand that like, every single piece of money, like, Uncle Sam's got his hand in it, you know? The same way, you know, where you want to dedicate some to giving back, you know, your tithe, so to speak.
Unless you're an independent contractor.
Yeah.
That's the way around it. 1099.
Yeah, but you still got to pay your taxes at the end of the year,
True,
but you have your write-offs.
You can write off a lot of that, and then you end up getting money back.
My mentor, he makes, you know, I think he was telling me, he makes 4 times what his brother, his sister, and his sister-in-law, his brother-in-law make, but he pays less tax than they do. And that's why I think I have like 5 LLCs right now, if I'm not mistaken, for different businesses set up. So, you know, you always got to write your deductions, and you always got to make sure you have your accountant that knows all the credit.
You got 5? Wait, why do you have 5 again?
I do a lot of different things. So every LLC has its own purpose.
Oh, so I feel that.
Yeah.
We only got one. DYC Entertainment.
That's
which is
fine.
like my brand and everything. So.
Eventually, you're gonna go down the road, like holding companies, etc., and you have branch off different LLCs. And there's a reason for that. That's not what I'm here for. I do money and finances. I don't do taxes, so don't listen to me on that. But talking to a lot of accountants and just understanding how things are structured, you start realizing why there are things. So you get a basic understanding of like why you do what you're doing. So. Down the road, you're going to open up more for a reason, right?
For sure.
Especially when I was in real estate, I started realizing one single, owner of a property would have an LLC for every single building or every single property, because you would realize that, it's a limited liability, but if they're going after you, they can only go after you for that one LLC. If you put everything in one big company, they can go after everything. That's where trust come in place too. They put inside a trust so they can't sue you.
Okay.
So, that'll go more depth. The accountants will give you more depth information about that. I work with a pretty big law firm when it comes to taxes. So
let me get this right. You learned this in school, right?
No, I learned that in school. I learned all of this, in business.
For me personally, I just think that the education system is a joke. It doesn't set you up for success outside of a factory job. Yeah. That's just me. Someone from a person who graduated cum laude, top 5% of my class, you know what I mean? Looking back at it, my degree and everything, it's important if you go for a specific reason.
Yeah, and I said that you and me think the same.
For a specific reason.
Yeah, doctors, lawyers, etc.
If you go, you need that.
I want my doctor to go to Johns Hopkins, and I want my lawyer to go to Harvard.
Exactly.
But besides, the accounting, etc.
Right.
Really, those are niche. You could teach almost anybody any job besides, like I said, those specified engineers, etc. Exactly. People going to school for business management. It's or you could have started a business 4 years earlier. You have 4 years of experience, and you figured it out, and it's going to cost you less money than $100,000 education.
So now you're in debt, leaving it to society.
Exactly.
You're having to pay all of this, and man,
I talk to people a lot about the financial, financial slavery type mindset, which is pretty much, you understand what it is, right? This is a capitalist country, so they're going to teach you. For example, before I go into the chain of how this works, I always ask people this question when they start talking about money. Have you ever seen a car commercial and they tell you how much the car costs? Never. But you know what they will tell you? $299 a month.
Yeah, you can afford it. That's what they say.
Because they automatically are going to tell you how much it costs to finance, because they're not putting in your mind you're not going to buy it, even though you can. Good. And it's better for you because you're going to pay half the price for it, because you don't realize the interest rate over 5 years is going to add another 25, 30, 40% of the car. And it costs half when you drive it off the lot anyways. So you're going to pay more for it, and you're going to get cut in half. It's a depreciating asset, so you're paying more for a depreciating asset.
Exactly.
But so let's go into that world, right? You go, they tell you when you're a kid, you can do whatever you want to be, right? You're like, I can be then you go to school like that. You go to school to get a good job. We're like, wait, I thought I could be whatever I wanted to be. And it's like, no. You go to school so you can get a good university that's going to put you in debt, which student loan debt is unforgivable. You can't go bankrupt and lose that. You can go bankrupt and forgive all your debt, and get rid of except for school loans.
School's gonna be there.
That's there forever. They're going to say, because they can't repo your brain or your degree.
Exactly.
So they know, we got to keep this around. We got to keep this around.
Exactly.
So then they're going to tell you to finance your car, right? Then they're going to tell you to get a mortgage on your house. They're going to tell you to get credit cards to rack up your credit. Then you're going to get a job, and guess what? You have the freedom to leave whatever job you want. But if you do leave your job, you lose your credit because you can't pay your credit cards. They're going to repo your car. They're going to kick you out your house. And then can you really leave your job now? No, you really can't.
Stuck.
Because you know what?
You got to keep the money coming in.
Yeah.
You're stuck.
It costs a company more to hire a new employee than to keep the same one.
Exactly. Yep.
So it's their way to kind of get you in, hey, I got you here.
It's the grind, bro. It's the grind.
That's why it's I don't mind working 3 times as long for myself, because I know that there was going to be one day, it could be tomorrow, it could be in 5 years, but I know that it's going to be before I would retire my job. That I'm going to be finally free. I give away weekends and this and that for myself and for my business, because I know that, hey, I didn't go out with you guys this time, but guess what? In 3 years, when I say, hey, yo, we taking this flight, we're going to go here for 2 weeks, can you come? But then you say you can't because I got a job.
Exactly.
So it's well, which one's better? You know what I'm saying? And guess what? I'm not here talking down on anybody, because that's what I value more. You might value the other one more, the security, the safety, the this and that. So it's not, one is not better than the other. It's different. So I'm gonna be very clear. I'm not, talking down on anybody.
No, of course,
everybody has their own life, and some people are happy. At the end of the day, This is about success and what success is for you.
Exactly.
Because your success is not my success.
Exactly.
My success
And
is
that
not
would
your
be media
success.
portrays.
It's
Exactly.
what it's for you.
Exactly.
If you're happy, if you love what you do every single day of your life, then who am I to tell you that you're doing things wrong?
And that's the
Because you know
thing,
what?
though.
You're doing things right.
That's the thing, though. Like, you deciding what's best for you. Me, I'm in a very tricky spot right now as far as my career and making money.
Yeah.
Now, money comes with my career for sure.
Yeah.
But
It's Friday.
it's sporadic. You're right. It's not consistent. You know, I'm a person who loves security. I love knowing, hey, for the next 8 months, I know my bills is paid.
Yeah.
I know I'm good,
Yeah.
regardless if anything happens. You know, the average American does not have $500 for an emergency fund.
That's true. That's true.
It's crazy when I heard that. Like, there's no way.
Most people live paycheck to paycheck.
Yeah, check to check. They don't have 500. They can do. Oh, something happened. I broke my leg. I don't have insurance. I need a bit. You know what I mean? Like, it's crazy. It's like right now, I'm at the point where I got good things going for, well, you know, for my career, but I also it hasn't been not life changing, but it's not in the acting world. You kind of have to continuously get acting gigs in order for it to benefit you. To sustain you financially. Right now, I'm at the point where, okay, I'm gonna have like incomes coming in. Like, for instance, I'll let you count my pockets for a little bit for the LeBron James commercial, right?
Yeah.
You get paid every time that show's on TV. Every time that show's
like a royalty.
Yeah, you get a royalty. So I was getting, that. So I think in entirety for the LeBron James commercial, I made about $13.50, about 13 grand, 13,500 something. Yeah. 13, that's a rough estimate, but like around that. I know it's at least that.
And then you got the story that you played against Braun forever.
That too. But for that, I got that. And at 13,
hey,
at
who
13
won?
you know who won.
Nah, you did.
Hey, you see me scoring. You see me scoring. No. Give me my credit. Give me my credit. I actually got a crazy story. So it's a lot that didn't put in the commercial. Like,
yeah, you can't make LeBron look bad.
Bro, I got a block on. My parents on the sideline going crazy. I know, like,
let me hear that story real quick before we get to the next part.
I got you. So basically, this is when he was in Miami on the Heat.
Yeah.
And my sister, Jasmine, my niece, and my parents were there. Right. I got 3 older sisters and an older brother. I'm the youngest.
Okay.
But so my older sister Jasmine, her daughter, and then my 2 parents were there. LeBron comes out, right? Boom. And they're like, they don't know, like, I have a full scholarship to go play basketball.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They don't know that.
It's a scrub.
So
it's just a scrub. He's just tall.
Exactly. So they come out, they're like, Daniel, we want you to just try your best, don't try to overdo anything, just try as good, you try. Just try your best.
It's okay. It's the best player that's going to play right now. Don't feel bad.
Whole different debate too that way. But
the debate's not a debate for me. That's just me personally. You from Chicago, so you know where
Jordan's my number one.
You know where I'm gonna go. You blocked it. You're like, this was Jordan.
Bro, Jordan's my number one, but LeBron is like the best player of all time to me. That makes sense. But Jordan's my GOAT. He's number one.
Yeah.
But like, I'll leave it at that. Anyway, like, LeBron, he wants you to do this, do that. Oops. Like, I'm like, I don't know. Yeah. The pride gets into it. I'm like, man, I hoop too, man. Yeah. I'm a competitor. Yeah. I'm an athlete. I compete. So anyway, we're playing one-on-one, and I literally just remember I had the ball. And this is the picture I posted on Instagram when he passed first time scoring. Yeah. That picture when I'm like this. I'm just thinking, please don't air ball. I pulled up, bro, D3. On that, everyone. So I'm feeling good, right? I'm like,
you got it. You know how this is. As an athlete, you get that first sack.
Exactly.
You get that first bucket, and you're like, okay, it's on.
That's why I messed up.
Yeah.
So I look at him, I do this. And I hit him with his signature. He laughed it off, right? Next play, he gets the ball. I block him. He's still laughing. It was like, whoa. He's like, no, foul.
Yeah,
we're jumping around, bro.
That's LeBron.
After that,
Done.
Flip the switch. Yeah. There was no type of nothing I could have fouled him and still he would score.
Yeah.
Like, there was no type of this dog walked me to the rest. I'm talking about gets right past me, hits the split with the ball. Was doing all of the.
That's like all the stories you hear of the old guys talking about when you talk trash to Jordan,
great,
and then he comes like.
Yeah,
Okay, I got you. He ever say anything to you after that?
No, yeah, we were talking. Like he was very like a real family man. Like LeBron went to my family. My dad had all bull stuff. We're from Chicago.
Yeah,
so he was like, I'm from Chicago. Okay, I can respect that. You know, and then he like picked up my niece and was playing with her. He thought she was my kid. But I'm like, nah, I ain't got no kids yet, Tim. but nah, he's playing with my kid and all of that. So like, it was my kid, my niece.
Yeah.
And it was dope. He's a real family man.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome.
That was super
no,
cool,
like
man.
I said, that's something you always gonna have for you. You know, like
sure.
I said, it's beyond the money. Yeah, that's what's cool about it. It's an experience. The money is great, and then it's an experience on top of that. You know, something you always got for you. So that's pretty dope. Yeah, I never really heard in depth a story about that, but hey, you always say, I got a block and I got a bucket against.
and one of the buckets made it to the commercial. That's on there. If you watch the commercial right now, you'll see me just hit a little floater over him. So you know, little work, man. Trying. Yeah.
But that's awesome, man. Like you see, like, but you got the right mindset because you know, like, okay, you understand that in your position. You know, you're smart enough to understand, like, I got to work twice as hard because I got to work and stay on my game for acting. And I also got to make sure that I'm bringing in money while the money's not coming.
Exactly. So I'm doing two different things right now on top of acting. You know what I mean? So, like, it's a lot, like, going on with me trying to do stuff. Like, I mean, the most recent thing with acting was CBS.
Yeah, the show.
Right, the show.
Hulu.
I do a lot of commercial work, do a lot of, you know, things like that nature.
So, like, how does that usually work? You got somebody that represents you, that's like trying to get you into as many things as possible, or you kind of do everything on yourself, or how does that work?
So, I do have an agent, Marianne Poland Talent Agency. They're actually based out here in Miami. But as far as like my most recent work, like yeah, she'll submit stuff for me, but like I still gotta work for myself.
Yeah.
Like the way it works.
You're your own brand.
Right. So I like a lot of my recent stuff, like I've been getting myself. You know what I mean? Like I ain't gonna say that I've been getting.
Yeah.
Lord's been given to me. You know, that's real. I was
It's
real
through
prideful.
you. It's through you.
Yeah, it's through me, but it's really him. But so I've been, you know, very fortunate and blessed to like happen to just go after things. Like for instance, I went to LA right after I moved from college. I moved.
Where were you
LA.
in college, by the way? What city were you in?
My first school was in Delaware, and my second school was up here in Boca at LA University.
Okay. Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, I remember talking about that.
So after I graduated, man, like a week after graduation, drove all the way out to LA, making that happen.
Yeah.
Like just like going for it, bro. Like it was people don't understand. People see, oh, he's on TV, he must be great.
Yeah.
They don't understand. I was moving in my car. They don't understand. It was like, bro, it's the most humbling experience. So quick side story, bro. I'm in LA, and I don't have a job. All I have is a GoFundMe that I started. I'm fresh out of college, and I had like a little money that I had saved up because I was doing a work study while in college. So I'm using that money. Literally, my first week there, I get a Jordan commercial with Zion Williamson.
Oh yeah.
Right. It's his first year coming out of Duke.
Yeah.
So I get a Jordan commercial my first week there. So people don't like, they see, oh, he's already on TV, he's only there for a week.
Yeah.
But I'm literally sleeping in my car. Like I would be in my car, take a little bird bath, brush my teeth, whatever, boom, 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 and then go on set and get treated like a king. And like, oh, makeup, finger foods, water, oh, I want some Fiji. Like
you were like, he going home to a nice apartment. You're like,
going home to a nice apartment.
I'm going back home to my car.
Exactly, I'm gonna find a nice parking lot. Cause
Yeah.
I'm not from LA. I don't know nobody in LA. I mean, I had a cousin that moved out there, but like, you know, he got his thing going on. He's a YouTuber, so he was always busy. So whatever, like, you know what I mean? Like, I was dolo out there. Like, it got to the point where, like, I was trying to make it, so I was literally commuting back and forth from Phoenix to LA because I got a cousin who lives in Phoenix, Arizona.
Yeah. So what's that, like a 4-hour drive?
4 or 5 hour drive.
Yeah.
He was like, hey, cuz, like, I know I'm far, but like, the spot you can stay here. So
listen, I tell people all the time.
You know what I mean? You
know, we're going to that story. I don't want to cut you off, but just it's on there. You know, it's funny because I tell people, you know, the 10-year overnight success. Because people see the overnight success, they don't see the 10 years before that. You know, it's like the bamboo, right? There's an analogy with the bamboo tree, and it's like, so it takes about 5 years for the bamboo tree to sprout, but then it'll do like go 6 feet in like a week, you know. And it's like, well, did it take 1 week to get 6 feet, or did it take the 5 years before that?
Exactly.
And the 1 week to get to 6 feet, and that's the analogy, you know. And that's what people don't understand. You know, everybody thinks it's easy, you know, but they don't understand the work that goes into it. And when you have to go through that, when you have the work, when you got the story, it makes it more powerful because now you can take that story, you can give it to somebody else.
Exactly.
Because somebody else is doing what you're doing right now, you know. And you're not there yet, but when you get there, right? somebody else is doing what you did. You know, I always bring Steve Harvey because that's like one of my favorite guys.
Hey, I love Steve Harvey,
but he did it, and I was literally just listening to one of his videos, and he was talking about how, you know, he gets a phone call and he go check his voicemail. Go to the payphone, check his voicemail. He's like, "Hey, you have a show at the Apollo on Sunday night." He's like, "Can you make it?"
All I got is how much money.
He's like, "Yeah, like he was in Pensacola." And he's like, "I don't have enough." He said, "Went to go call the next day to tell him he couldn't make it." And he checks his recording first, and he sees he's got a gig for 150 that night. He's like, "I'll be there." Boom.
Yeah.
They're like, "Yo, you killed it. You can make it the next night." Yeah, 150. Boom, be there. Hey, I'll be there on Sunday.
Yeah, they get the
and
money.
He got the money to go there, and then that launched him. He was in the Apollo, and I think he was talking about being on there for 8 years. But you know, I literally just talked this story about. I talked about this story like 2 hours ago with my boy. You know, this conversation, but it's like it's what we don't see. It's what makes you who you are too. You know, it's not what everybody sees, but it's what you don't see at the same time. So you got that story, and 2 years, 3 years, 4 years when everybody knows your name, right? And you're talking about your story. Maybe someone's listening to this podcast and he's sleeping in his car trying to get to an audition, and he's like, "Yo, he did it. I can do it too." And that's what it's all about.
I'm trying to do it. I'm trying to do it, man.
You're trying out of there.
I'm trying,
Yoda,
man.
do or do not. No try.
God willing, brother. I'm trying, man. Look, I got so many stories like that, man.
I think we all got our stories, man. I've gone through it. You know.
How old are you?
33.
33? You aging well, brother.
Yeah,
you aging well.
Paul makes you look young. No.
Michael Jordan.
Honestly, actually, it's funny, when I shaved my head, I was probably 21 years old. And I'm like, I'm going to be bald one day. But people are going to know me as a bald guy.
Oh,
and not the guy who's trying to keep every single piece of his hair. So I'm like, guess what? Everybody now knows me as the bald guy. Like, if they say, "Hey, what do you look like?" People think of me like, I wonder what you would look like with hair. Like, I don't even remember what
it fits you though. This fits you.
Yeah, that fits me. But I made it because you know me as this. That's why I do like that. But I mean, it works and it does work for me, you know. If I had no facial hair, it would be really.
That's what I'm saying. See, I can't go bald right now. I got this. I got a baby face. You know what I mean?
And that's what I'm saying. It's different for everybody. But you know, 33 years is like every year is experience. And I tell people all the time, you know, don't judge, you know, your success to somebody else's, right? Because especially in your world, right? You got child actors, right? Mm-hmm. And then they might fizzle out when they get older. Or you got some people who become a millionaire at the age of 20, some are born into it, some become 50, some never become it. So how can I judge myself, you know, to you? Maybe you're doing better than me right now, and I'm like, well, why would I be salty that you doing better? I'm like, no, appreciate success, first of all. That's the number one rule, because if you hate on success, success will hate on you, and you won't find it.
Won't come.
But two is, you're gonna make it when you're gonna make it. You know, they talk about all the people who made it late. You know, Ray Kroc, KFC, the guy Colonel Sanders. You know, all these guys, they made their money later in their lives.
Nike.
And yeah, you know what I'm saying? So is it any less than somebody who made it when they were 20?
Still made it.
They still made it. Like at the end of the day, everybody's journey is a journey. And then, you know, you gotta follow old sayings, the military saying, embrace the suck, which means like just enjoy the time to get there, right? Enjoy the hard times.
Hardship.
You know, enjoy the hard times because it's easier said than done. But enjoy the hard times because the good times are gonna come.
For sure.
But if you hate, if you're salty and mad about during all the hard times, it's gonna be a longer journey. Might as well enjoy the struggle because the struggle is part of the journey, and it's gonna make your story better. It's gonna make your story better. You know, whose story is more who has a better story? You know, I don't want to say better, but you know, you hear the guy that he was born into money, always had money, and he died with money, or you got the guy who was born into nothing. He made it. He had to struggle. He had to go through it, and guess what? You're gonna impact more people with that story because a few people can understand being born into money and you know living with money your whole entire life.
Very small.
But a larger amount of people can impact and can relate with that story. And our job here on Earth is, you know, my opinion is to make it a better place. Like take their experience, pass it on to others, and let's make their life a little easier because now they know the shortcuts of what you did, and it might be able to help them to get there quicker.
Oh, for sure. There's only so many shortcuts you can take, though.
No, you're right. You know,
sometimes the route is to go through it.
Yeah.
No other way but to go through it.
The road less traveled. You know, the road less traveled.
When you say that, man, on all of my social media platforms like Instagram, Twitter, in the bio, it literally says, "Do not compare your everyday life to everyone's highlight reel."
Yeah, it's so funny.
And that's all social media is.
It is
the best.
It is.
You know.
It is because I told you know you have a couple of guys that own these private jets that they might not even fly them. They're just there charging $150, $200 an hour so someone do a photo shoot and they just letting people run. And you've never flown on a private jet. Yeah, you sat down in one so what? You know, like really. And it's just that people think, hey, I made it, like follow me. You know, and it's that fake it till you make it, which I'm not gonna knock anybody's hustle, because whatever you gotta do to get yours, just understand that like not everything you see is real. Everything that glitter ain't gold. Everything that glitter is like gold.
People getting surgeries, now they fitness gurus. Like, you can lose the weight yourself. You over here, you got 100 pounds of tummy tucks and butt lifts and
calf implants, bicep implants, and calf implants.
Yeah, it's like if I'm bald and I get a wig, I tell you how to take care of your hair.
Yeah. What? But when it comes to mentorship, I always talk to people like that, right? And this route, and you know, there's maybe something you do yourself, but you know, when you take on a mentor, when you take on somebody, when you take somebody's advice, just ask yourself, do I want their life, right? Mm-hmm. Right? So, for example, you imagine I'm a guy who's never made it in a movie, never made it in a TV show, and I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna tell you how to become a successful actor. And then you look at my life, you're like, this guy lives in a one-bedroom apartment, he's something years old, he's never been on TV. What does he know about being a successful actor? So you need to take the advice of people's lives you want to emulate, right? So
I feel that.
When you take advice, it'd be very weird when you take advice from them. Make sure that you want the results, because if you follow their path, you're gonna go down their road. That's usually how it works.
And everyone's funny, because our boy who we were talking about, Steve Harvey, he caught a lot of flack because he said, if you want to be rich, you have to work more than you sleep. And a few other people like John Legend, Chrissy Teigen, other people shot back at him and was like, that's not true at all. Maybe that's true for you. That's not true for like how you make it. That's a route, because Steve Harvey's a hard worker. Like, he was like,
I respect
you know,
I respect him so much.
He live in LA. He's like, the people on the East Coast already got 3 hours on you.
Yeah.
So you gotta wake up at 4 a.m. to hit them, like, you know. But I get that point, but I also get the other point people were saying too, because everyone has their routes.
No, and look, you are 100% right. At the same time, you also don't want to make that mental barrier that, you know, sometimes you want to speak out to the universe, right? You don't want to say it's going to be hard, because now you're already making it hard, you know. But understand that if it is, you get through it.
Yeah, right. No, that's facts.
You know,
that's
so
facts.
now it's almost like, so another thing that he says, I know I'll talk about. He says, you know, if you're going through hell, why stop?
Why stop the hell?
Yeah, because now you're just stuck in the
You're already there.
Yeah, you're there. Might as well keep on going. And that's really more the point that I'm trying to make, right? Like, you're in the middle of a bad spin. Because I tell people all the time, like, sometimes I just wish I could just want an average life. That's not what I want. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want to be great. Like, I want to do great things.
What do you want? I want to hear it. What do you talk to me? Because I give you my ideal of what I want as far as like my end story, like when it's all said and done. But
so
I want to
for
hear
me,
yours.
my biggest thing is I want to be able to help impact lives for better, right? You know, my goal is I want to leave Earth a better place than when I came in, right? So that's why I'm doing this podcast, because I'm taking all the knowledge I've accumulated, like how many years of seminars, of videos, of reading. I've read I don't know how many books, and every book you read, you take on a new mentor. And I don't know how many videos I've watched. Every morning I wake up to a video, you know, somebody talking about something, you know, somebody who's made it, their journey, etc., like teaching how to kind of get through it. Right. So I take all that experience and I just put it out to everybody else, you know, and if it hits for somebody, you know, great. And if it doesn't, great. Right. But I'm going to give you the information, and you use it, and eventually it's going to hit 1, 2, 3. I don't know how many people, but the more people can reach, the more people I can hit, right? Mm-hmm. And that's one of my biggest goals, is to be able to give back. That's why everything I do with this podcast is, you know, my first mindset with the podcast is not monetization. It's, no, this is giving away that free knowledge, everything I've learned. It's not free, because you know how much I had to work to get this information. Right. You know, I've had to acquire mentors in my life. And you know what? Some of these guys are not just going to give you their mentorship for free. Right. And not just monetarily, but like, I'm not talking about just monetarily, but you know, you got to work to get in their good grace. You know, I know a lot of people that are extremely successful that I can go call up and they'll, hey, let's go sit down and grab a smoke. You know,
so tell me, like, if you can give me like profession, location, like give you like the dream plan.
Yeah.
Like what are you doing?
So my main thing is, you know, obviously I'm out here trying to create a brand as well, because I mean, being a motivational speaker, inspirational speaker. Okay. You know, I don't want to even say motivational, because motivation lasts for a while, but inspiration lasts forever. So I want to say inspirational.
Hey, that was a fire quote, by the way.
Thank you, bro. And I want to be going around the world talking to a lot of people. My business started by being the guy that knows a guy, you know, and I'm like the plug of plugs, right? Not just, you know, in just a certain aspect, but I know somebody in my phone book that I've acquired because when I was working in restaurants, I took care of them, or for whatever reason, and I sat down in a cigar bar and just had a good conversation. They respected me. So I've got a big phone book that people do a lot of different things. So I've made a business of connecting people together, right? So that's something I really enjoy. I really enjoy putting people together. And in the beginning, I was doing it for free, and then later, I made a business out of it, right? I'm gonna get a piece because I bring value too, right? If I put you two together and you guys made $10 million, you're gonna tell me I don't deserve one for putting something together that wasn't there.
That's facts.
Right?
You're right.
You know, and it's a great position to be in because you got the least amount of overhead.
You just made that connection that people wouldn't have before.
And yeah, people wouldn't
benefit from that.
So you know, so I love doing that. I got a couple great opportunities overseas that I'm not gonna talk about, but you know, I definitely want to have multiple, you know, I want to have you know, multiple, you know, places to live in multiple different countries. You know, I want to travel the world for sure, and I just want to speak to a lot of people and try to impact as many people as possible. And I think that's the dream. You know, that's the dream.
You gotta check out Greece, bro. On the show, I think episode 9, you go to Greece.
Yeah, bro. I've never been to. It's funny. I was supposed to. So, right when COVID started, it was a year my uncle turned 60. It was 2019, I think, right?
2019.
Or
yeah.
2020.
May of 2019. Wait. May of 2020.
May of 2020, right?
May of
so
2020.
my cousin, June of 2020, my uncle turned 60, so he was like, hey, we're going to do an 11-day cruise. We're going to start in Italy. We're going to go through a couple locations in Greece, Turkey, and come back to Rome. And we were going to go, and then COVID came. And
it never happened.
It never happened.
Happened for a reason, though, bro.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Nothing happens without God's approval.
Exactly. So,
He allowed it to happen, so honestly, for a bigger reason.
COVID was actually very great to me, you know, to be real with you. Like, a lot of great things happened through COVID. Not because of COVID, so I'm not going to be here. Don't look at me as a guy like, guys, this is the COVID guy that love COVID. I never said that. But during that time, look, it happened, right? So you can make the best of it, or you can just sit and dwell on the worst of it. Right?
I ain't gonna lie, that was one of the worst times, bro.
I can imagine.
I was driving back from LA to Homestead, Florida. Back and forth. That same car you see.
Homestead,
bro. That same car you see out there that I pulled up in.
How long is that?
Those plates are not Florida plates.
Yeah. How long is that drive?
So from Homestead to Houston, it's about 17 hours, and then from Houston to San Antonio is like another 45-minute drive. But then from San Antonio to LA, it's another 19. And I would do it straight. So I would drive from Homestead to Houston, sleep in a truck stop.
What were you doing in Homestead? I already said we know why you were doing it in LA, but what were you doing? What was Homestead for you like?
My family. My family was there. And it was just like, I'm trying to figure things out. I'm trying to boom. I also had a girlfriend at the time. She had lived in Florida as well. So it made sense to like drive and be here for a few months, go back there and see when this COVID thing is going to lay off, when it's not, you know what I mean? So like, it was crazy.
No,
man.
it's crazy. Look, it's just the part. This trip is not as far as yours, but this is the part of like having to do what you have to do. Like, you know, so when I made the one team in St. Petersburg, right, I was on a smaller team, and a couple of we went to the All-Star game, and I overheard this one coach talking about this new professional league, and he's like, look, we want you two to be there. I wasn't one of those students, so overheard the conversation, and like, look, we have the workouts. You're gonna come to the workouts, and I want you two to be there. You guys have pretty much already made the team. We like you. Come over here. So I was hot. I'm like, why? What? I'm in the All-Star game too. Like, why don't you want me? So that I heard what day it was, and I just went. So I would drive for 4 or 5 weeks in a row. I drove from Miami to St. Petersburg. I would leave like around 6 o'clock in the morning to get to the tryouts at 10 o'clock.
Oh yeah, that's that.
So
yeah.
and then I'd do there for 4 hours, and then I'd drive back home. And then Saturdays was our games. So I play our games at the end of after driving. So I'd get back home to like nighttime to be able to play the game, and it's like, oh man, those Saturdays were crazy. But I made the team, and it's funny because when I made the team, one of the coaches was like, "I'm not gonna lie, you're one of those surprise people. We didn't expect you. We didn't even know why you showed up. We didn't even know you were gonna be there, but you're one of the surprise people." You know, and I went to different trials for this league throughout the time as well. I remember one guy used to play corner for the NFL, and he wasn't even on an All-Star game at one point. And so I was with them. I was a linebacker, and I ended up playing linebacker. But I always wanted to be a tight end, so I was a tight end when I went to work out in this one in Georgia, in Atlanta. And did my routes, did everything, did my thing. I didn't get picked up, but at the end, I'm walking out. The guy comes to me, he runs, he stops, he goes, "I'm not gonna lie, you have some of the best routes I've ever seen." And it's like, it was just a dedication to my craft, right? My craft, every day I was just putting in the work, and I was splitting time between linebacker and tight end because I didn't know where I was going to be playing. And even splitting time, I was able to get myself to the position where I can still do both, you know. And I think it made me good the linebacker. It made me good because, you know, I would do one-on-ones and line up as a corner against wide receivers. You know, if you could line up on a one, it's a completely different position. Obviously, the guard as a linebacker than it is the guard as a corner, but it made me better. It made me understand, okay, this is what this guy's doing, and I would get beat a lot. But then it got to the point where, like, my buddy, he would run a 4-3, and I positioned myself to where he wasn't running faster than me. I was still sticking with him side by side because you put a little bit of pressure, you know. So you learn things to kind of like. I was 250 at the time, mind you. I was 250, like 220, 25. But I was 250 and I was like 9% body fat. So I ran a 4.51, so I had some speed to me too. But mind you, I'm 250 trying to keep up with this guy's like a $190 running a 4.3. So you have to learn how to kind of maneuver and help. And I took it to everything else. But you know, during the chat, I think Joe Namath came through and watched one of our workouts. And I remember getting an interception right in front of him. That was pretty cool. And he came to me and he was like, at the end, he's like, hey, man, you're doing some good things. And that was pretty cool when you go like, this guy's, you know, Hall of Famer, you know, this guy's a legend. Exactly. And he's like, yo, you're doing good things. I like what you're doing. And linebacker was a position, mind you, I never played either. Because in my high school career, I played defensive lineman. So what happened was with football, so I was a tight end for the first 3 years, but we ran a wing T, so I was pretty much like an extra tackle. All I did was block pretty much. Once in a while you go for a waggle route, you know, you go for a pass. And I'm like, it's my senior year. I don't want to do this. I'm a senior. I don't want to block. No, nothing's going to happen to me if I block.
Facts.
So what happened was, I told the coach, hey, I want to play defensive end. And he goes to me and he goes,
quarterback.
Yeah, he goes to me, he goes, if you could run faster than a 5.40, which is not crazy, it's really easy. He's like, I need you to run faster than a 4.9, and we'll put you on defensive line. So he's like, at the end of whatever, he said at the time, I did it. He's like, great, you're on the defensive line. So then the spring game comes around, and it's like the third quarter, and I haven't played yet. And they're like, all right, get in. So I go in for one series. First play, sack. Second play, tackle for a loss. Third play, sack. And then coach comes, all right, get out. All right, you don't need to play anymore. And I'm like, wow, I'm done? He's like, yeah, you're starting. And then,
I thought something bad.
Yeah,
I was like, damn.
So the first game of the year, regular season comes, and I get 10 tackles and 2 sacks. Then the next game comes, I get 10 tackles and I get a sack, and I'm always the paper. And from a position I never really played before. And it was just that determination. It's like, no, I want to play.
I feel that.
So it's something I took with football that now translated to business.
That's fire though, bro.
So it was pretty cool. I mean, how I kind of maneuvered around, you know, the professional world, but it was all putting myself in there. It was like me fitting in. And now that I think about it, kind of going back and me having to force myself into different positions, like, yeah, it's a good thing because that was me just always trying to get it. But then at the same time, maybe it was just God saying like, no, this is not for you. Don't try to force it. But even though you force it, you're still doing your thing. Like, you got that.
And that's
but
the
I
thing.
don't know.
How are you able to deter whether it's you forcing something or if this is God saying?
You know, and that's true. And I think you just got to do it and then just kind of get the signs as you go.
Yeah,
you know?
Exactly. You got to go for it. The only way you can know is to go for it.
Like, I think a lot of people understand, just, you know, 100, right? Just do it 100. Like, go full force and just figure it out along the way. And I think that's what it is, right? That's everything is, you know. Exactly. But I promise you, you're not going to get the opportunities if you do 50% the whole way. That you're getting
for sure. For sure. You gotta be fully dedicated and fully go after it.
Yeah. If you weren't going to LA, checking 30-hour drives to go to LA, like, were you gonna get some of those auditions or some of that commercials?
Exactly.
Were you gonna be able to say I blocked LeBron James, I hit a 3 on LeBron? You wouldn't be able to say that because you might not have got that opportunity. You know, so I think I don't ever like to talk about regrets or what could or what couldn't, because I will never know what couldn't happen, but I know what's happening, and I know my mind what's going to happen.
Right.
And I think those are the only two things I can control: what's going to happen now, and what's happening right now, and what's going to happen in the future. Because I'm gonna put in all the effort, and I know if something doesn't work, it wasn't because I didn't try. It's because it just wasn't meant to be, or it wasn't what it wasn't.
Hugely.
But I'll just keep on going for it.
Nah, hugely going that, bro. You got to keep going straight. That's the only thing that keeps me, bro. It's a discouraging route. The route that we take.
Yeah, it is.
The entrepreneur route, the just trying to make it happen outside the box. We're not. We're not content with 1 out of 5.
Yeah, people don't understand it. you know, and it's because it's not for them, so they're never going to understand it. But I agree with you, right? Because, like, if you don't get it, it's because it's not for you to get, right?
Yep.
And some people look at you like you're crazy, like, why are you doing this? Like, it's not working, like, it's not, and it's like, just don't worry about it, you don't get it. And that's where I said hot air balloons and anger, right? Sometimes you just let those people go. Sometimes some people are harder to let go than others, right? Because they've been in your life for so long. But hey, a Johnny man can't save a Johnny man. Am I gonna go down with you? Like,
Exactly.
I can't help you when I'm down there,
Try to
right?
say it for yourself.
You know, everybody's in your life for a reason and for a season. You know, that season might be a couple days, couple months, couple years. Could be the season, could be the whole season of your life. But it's for a reason and for a season. So understand that. I know who to stick to and who to let go.
I know it.
But let's flip around. Now it's your turn. What does your life look like, or what do you envision your life like?
To be honest, so everyone thinks like, oh, I'm trying to be like a Denzel or Will Smith, or, you know, I don't care to be that. Ideally, I would love to be a strong supporting cast. Similar, a good example of that is the guy from Black Panther, not the main one, but the Martha.
Oh, I know you're talking about. Yeah.
He's not a main character, but he's a big part of the story. So big to that story to where he's in the Avengers movie.
But and he's also had his roles like was it Us?
Right. I can take a couple. I ain't saying I don't ever want to be a leading role, but like I'm saying, like he's known for that. You know what I mean? I want to be known for just a strong supporting cast, man. At the end of the day, I was going to be able to support a family with what I do.
Well, let's
and what I want to do is acting.
I mean, look, that's what I'm talking about. To me, is financial freedom, right? Mm-hmm. And what does that mean? That means that, so in my opinion, the way I see money is options, right? And what do I mean by that, right? If I say, hey, tomorrow let's go to Italy and let's do this. Well, if you got money, you have the option to do that. Yep. If you don't got money, you don't have the option to do that.
Right.
So it's like, I determine what I'm gonna do. To, you know, I'm not talking about going on a steamy spree. I'm not talking about like that. But to the level, if I want to go somewhere the next day, I don't have to ask. I don't have to ask.
Exactly.
I don't gotta ask my boss, hey, can I be off the next week?
Exactly.
I just do it. I don't gotta check my bank account and say, hey, can I get a loan so I can do this? I don't have to do that, right? Mm-hmm. And that's what like freedom is, right? You can do what you want when you want, to the extent of the law,
for sure,
and not infringing on other people. But you know, that's what I see for myself. And you know, in regards to like the strong character, you know, strong cast, you know, strong supporting character. You know, we could take it to basketball. You know, Jordan ain't gonna win the race without Rodman and Pippen and Scotty. You know, like we're talking about that whole team won the championship. It wasn't Jordan won the championship; it was the whole team. So having that strong cast, like that strong supporting role, is just as important to the movie because you take that person out, and we're talking about that's a different movie.
Exactly. That's what I'm trying to be, man. So like ideally, like I'm at that point in life, man, where I'm a wife. Want to have kids soon? Yeah. Not right now.
Yeah.
At least I want another like 3 years before I have a kid.
Yeah.
I want another 3 years before I have a kid.
Because you're 26. Okay.
26.
Right about 30.
I was 27.
Yeah.
So 27, 29. 29. I want to be at the point where I trying to pop one out.
You know, honestly, and I said, it's funny because with me, like,
with my wife though, I don't want baby mamas.
I'm the same.
I don't want no baby mamas.
I'm glad
this ain't it.
I've had some scares in the past, and it's kind of like I'm not with any of them, and it's like, okay, you know, it happened for a reason. But I've been the same way where I haven't really had a kid just as of yet, and it's kind of like I want to be in a position to where, you know, I can allow my wife or my girl at the time to not work if she don't want to, and I can supply everything for my kid. You know, and look, having a kid is like never a perfect time, right?
Never perfect time,
but you know, and you're always gonna do what you're gonna do. But I don't want to have to make a lot of decisions. You know, like, okay, am I gonna have to stop doing this because I have a kid that I gotta take care of? And you know what? When you become a father, now those decisions become a little harder. Like, this is my goal and dream, but it's about my kid. So that's the only reason I've been kind of hesitant. I want one now, but I also got to make sure I'm in the right space. Where it's like, listen, that's why you see a lot of these older people. It's funny, you know, everyone always brags on these older people with like these young girlfriends. It's like, well, understand that when they were younger, they were grinding to get it. You know, they were grinding to make this money so they can live a life where everybody in their family is going to be completely happy, completely taken care for. So now they miss the time where they could be with younger. They're going to be steady with the younger woman because that time's behind them. They were working during that time. They gave up this. Now they're like, okay, well,
now I can't.
Dating wise, I'm at 25, so I'm gonna find me a 25-year-old because I can afford it anyways. But you know, I don't know if that's gonna be me. I've tended to talk to older women, just based off a maturity mindset and like
for sure.
But you know, I'm not gonna narrow anybody down to a box saying, hey, all younger women are immature and all older women are mature because that's narrowing down. That's generalizing. But in my short. What's it called? In my short sample size, that's what I've sent.
Short sample size. What you mean? How many girl members have you?
We're not having this. That's not this conversation. This conversation is business and success. We ain't talking about success in women. We're talking about different types of success.
I'll ask you off camera.
We can talk about that.
Now curious.
The sample size is just since I've been going around. Been talking to different women. Right. So and you just pick up a lot of things, and it's all just about finding the right person for you because. Everybody's got their, somebody that's for them. You look at all these relationships, you see all different kinds. You're like, hey, I'm happy you found that person. I find so much respect. I always love to have conversations with people who see they're still married and they've been married to the same person for 50, 60 years. And I have questions about that because it's like, yeah, exactly. You don't see that much. But when you do, it's like, ask questions. If that's something you want, find out. Hey, what did it take for you to get there? I knew this one couple. They were like, I think the guy was in his 90s and the other lady was in their late 80s. And they're like, oh, we're going to Ireland next year. We just got back from here, and next year we're doing Ireland. So we're saying you're putting everything together so we can get ready to go to Ireland. It's like they did that. They do that. Yeah. That keeps it spicy. That 90-year-old spicy.
No, that's fire, bro. I definitely. My parents, they're still together. So I look at them a lot as, Now, don't get me wrong. It's a relationship. You definitely got its flaws, but they still there. That's what we're doing in our careers. Like, through all, you know what I mean? Through all the crap, through
the hills and the valleys.
Exactly. Still there. So, like, that's where I'm at right now, man. I'm excited. I got some things coming up on the way as far as the whole acting thing goes.
That's amazing. Anything you can share? If you can't, you can't. We talk about off camera too.
I got you. Off camera conversation.
Off camera conversation.
NDAs and a lot of
things. Trust me. Nah, don't play with NDAs. In the business world,
I do sometimes.
Yeah.
But
no, you don't.
I don't do that. I'm tripping right now.
Yeah.
I thread that line though. But yeah, man. So I'm excited. What I will say is that it's gonna come a time very soon where I'll have to make a decision where it's gonna be leave your job.
But that's
continue your career.
Yeah.
Or you change to security, stay with your job, and go.
And that's
which I've done multiple times before.
Yeah, and that's what I tell people all the time, and it's a scary leap of faith. But sometimes you just gotta take it, And if it doesn't work out, like I left, like I've moved to different cities to play football before, like not having anything secured, And I was younger, so it's easier when you're younger. When you're older, people look at you differently, right? When you're younger, you're like, yeah, man, you're so ambitious. That's great. I love how you can just drop and leave. That's so. And now you're 33, you're like, what are you doing with your life?
Yeah,
and it's like, you know what? You don't get it. Like, don't worry about it. Exactly. You don't get it. Like, I still take care of mine. Don't worry. Exactly. So.
It's like a commercial. It's not on the phone anyhow. What they call your future.
Yeah. And sometimes that's what having the right people around you is all about.
Exactly.
Right? Keeping that supporting cast around you, right? The ones that be like, you know what, go for it. I'm behind you 100%. Right? Yep. And those are the people you stick around with. Like when you make it, it's like, okay, now they got into the second phone book. They got into that second phone where it's like I pick up the phone when they call. And that's what it's all about. So I have a core group that's like. It's three of us, me, my boy Steve, and my boy Eric. That's my brother. Like I've known him for over 9 years. Probably one of the people I've known longer than anybody that's not my blood. So
you from here?
Yeah.
Everyone from here?
Yeah. Okay. My family's from here. Now they kind of split apart. My sister's up in LA. My cousin's in LA. The other one's in San Clemente, so not too far from LA. And a couple went to California. My cousin and his wife, they're in Detroit. One of my cousins in Chicago.
Shout out Chicago.
Exactly. And so everybody that we grew up, so it's funny because when we grew up really close. And every week I felt like there was like we were at somebody's house and we were having some type of party. Hispanics love to party, so it's like just give us a reason, So little barbecue, little this, little that, whatever it was. and we were so close because everybody lived together. Now it's like, okay, the next generation of kids, it's a little bit more spread out. We were really close, but the next generation is gonna be a little bit more spread out, like age-wise, and a little bit more spread out geography-wise. So it's gonna be a little different. Your best friends were your cousins because you saw them all the time. You didn't go to school with them, but you saw them all the time because you guys all linked up every week. You guys had fun, you had parties. And now it's like, well, one of them lives in California, one of them lives in Chicago. So it's like, so it's not the same.
It's funny you say that. I didn't cut you off. It's funny you say that though. I actually did live with my cousin. So we moved from. I lived in Orlando for some time before. I'm from Chicago to Orlando to Miami.
Yeah.
And we left Orlando. It was a little rough, financially. I ended up moving in with my cousin. So I was living with them, my cousin, going to his high school, and it's crazy. It's funny how that stuff works out.
I mean, listen, that's how it all works out. Like you said, and like I talked, me and my boys. So going back to my boys, Steve and Eric, right? We put a lot of things together, so we have our context. Like we just kind of put our context together to try to get different things to go. And we always talk about, 10 years down the road, opening that like 25 bottle of scotch, sitting down, smoking a cigar, pouring and just having conversations about like, look at what we went through, like look at where we're at right now. And it's all about that mentality, right? Just looking back about what you did, and how you got there. Yeah. And like, listen, look at us now, like X dollar bottle, just living here, there, etc. And just like looking back at everything we've done.
I can't wait for that.
I'm ready, man. I'm ready.
I can't wait for that. I'm gonna enjoy this time I'm in now, though.
Exactly. That's why we're doing it right now. We're having that conversation. We're sitting down. We smoking, and we just having this the same type of conversation we having, but we just having it, in the future. That's the next
barbershop talk.
Yeah, exactly. So. Honestly, bro, I appreciate you coming out, man, for real.
Yeah,
Thank you again for your time. It was a great conversation. I learned even a little bit more.
For sure.
I hope everybody loved the little LeBron story.
Oh, yeah.
In general, just the stories in general, like, hey, you're doing it. Like, that's amazing. And hey, for what it's worth, like, when it comes time for you to make that decision, like, I support you 100%.
My brother, I appreciate you, man.
Appreciate it, brother.
Alrighty.